Our homeboy Andrew Tate, Top G, locked up, gone. But there's a lot of people saying that they're not going to come out. Is he actually a criminal, or are they trying to put away a man that's trying to help men like be men?
Who's to say what's true, what's not true? Are those pictures real or are they fake?
That's crazy. I never thought about that. You mean they would fake evidence to put him away?
Exactly. Could he be saying they're going to get me to warn us because he didn't do any of those things? Or could he say they're going to get me to cover his own butt? We don't know.
His last interview was kind of eerie because they're like, oh, they're about to get me. So...
I'm just playing, I don't fight, I do pray. I only go the way of mistake I way. Try to correct me, but I'm stuck in my own ways.
Why wouldn't you take advantage of that?
I don't believe I have a truth. I just believe there is truth.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the George Janko Show. Today, I'm going to have to be taking it a little easy. I've hurt my rib a little bit.
Hurt it? You cracked it.
We don't know just yet. It does stick out a little bit, and it really hurts to breathe and do anything. But I haven't been this happy in a very long time. I mean, dude, I don't know what is going on. I do know what's going on. I like to start out by saying this. I have been spending way more time with God lately, dude. And it has been such a joy and peace. I'm looking at everything positive. That's how you know you're walking in the Spirit, is everything. Like, I cracked my rib. I said, good, I eat too much. Now I can't get too bloated. It's like a little spiritual belt around my gut. God's like, hey, he took one from Adam. He could take one from me.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Guys, we have a jam-packed episode, you know? We went to go hang out with Joyce Myers. Her ministry is doing something really cool. We're going to fill you guys in on it. Our homeboy, Andrew Tate, Top G, locked up, gone. We're going to get into that.
Ooh.
And some cool, fun little stories. So welcome back to the George Janko Show. I hope that this brings you a lot of joy and peace, and it's a bright light for you guys, and it's salt, but not the salt that the world sees, like salty. That's a bad thing. In our world, it's a really good thing. So if you see a Christian, like, my God, he's salty. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Anyways, Dog.
I have a fact about salt.
Talk to me.
Dude, this guy, I saw a TikTok of him and he was like, you know what? He's like, I can't eat normally anymore. He's like, now when I grab the salt, he's like, there's so much of a history behind it. And you know how guys, you are all guys, the Roman Empire, right? Guys are really obsessed with the Roman Empire. And they're like, you're not a real fanatic of the Roman Empire if you don't know the true meaning of salt. And that salt was a form of payment before. And so that's why it's called salary. Because you were paid in salt back then, because it was so. Yes, I promise.
How far are we going with this? Salary?
Yeah.
Salary is obviously salad.
Do you think they were paying in salad?
Well, do you know why they were paying in salt, though? Do you know why they were paying in salt?
Tell me.
Okay. Well, the reason why they were paying in salt, because salt back then was worth more than gold. Because salt preserves items.
Yes.
So there was no fridges. So what they did is they had caves. Are you shaking your head now?
I don't know. You got it back there. No, she's right.
Thank you.
Wait, am I wrong, though?
No, you're right as well.
Oh, because they were both going like this to me, and I'm like...
You're both right.
Okay.
This says, yes, the word salary is directly connected to the word salt.
And how beautiful is that? It was the most valuable thing on earth. It's the only rock that we eat. And what are we Christians? We are the salt of the world.
We eat the rock of Jesus Christ.
We eat the rock?
Yeah, he's the bread of life.
Okay.
Man must not live on bread alone, but every word of that proceeds out of the mouth
fair
of
enough.
God. There's so much pain. So that's so cool.
Is that so cool?
By the way, you said this in the beginning. You said all these men are interested in the Roman Empire.
Yes. It's like a guy thing. It's like a really big guy. Have you guys seen this? There's a big trend on TikTok where it's like, ask any guy about the Roman Empire, and they're like, and they just know everything about it. And it's like a really big obsession for guys, is the Roman Empire.
Because the Romans, they took over.
Right.
They were strong. But you know what's taking over right now? AI.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. I hope you guys are in a bunker with a bunch of food and you're scared about the future. Dude, listen, I'm happy. And if you're wondering, like, George, how could you be like seeing this and yet so happy? It's because, like, dude, if the end of the world comes soon, Jesus comes soon. They're going to be like, oh, all right, he's crazy. Like, he's nuts. No, but I will say those are all jokes. But 2012, the Mayans calendar said that everything was going to die. And that's when social media started popping off. And I really do think things died out. But robots are taking over right now, because if you go to like a Fry's or a Ralph's, and there's like 4 employees working, and you're like, hey, could you ring me up? And they're like, no, actually, you got to go to the self-checkout. That was like the first thing, right? And then it slowly started progressing. Now we have cars that are driving us. My grandmother had a robot take her to her gate.
Oh, at the airport.
That's crazy. That is insane. They literally usually have like a nice person. Well, actually, sometimes they're not even nice. They just like sick of old people. They're just like, oh, get in the cart. You know, those people that like. Have you ever seen? By the way, have you? I'm all over the place. Sorry, I haven't been sleeping because every time I roll over on my rib, I wake up and scream. But have you guys ever seen like old people in a cart? They're moving them really quick. Have you seen that where they're like rushing to the gate, but
Really?
old people are in the cart like that? You haven't seen that? Mm-mm. Oh, it's so funny, dude. They're like rushing them to the gate, but the old person's just like they can't move it because they're in the gate.
Yeah.
But now this like robot takes them and they like go really slow. And in Arizona, well, actually in all these airports, you see those guys with the carts, and they're like kind of like driving people around. I always pay them. Hey, take me to my gate, and it's not because I'm injured or I'm slow. I just don't want to walk. I'm at the airport all the time. And by the way, I feel so guilty because people recognize me and they're like, "What is it? Hey, George!" I'm just like,
No, you have used it for like last minute emergencies where we're about to board our gate and you're like, "There's a Chick-fil-A in the next terminal," and so you're like, "Hey, buddy, could you whip me over to Chick-fil-A and back?"
no. And by the way, they used to whip. They used to whip.
Yeah.
I used to get them
Yeah.
food. I'll be like, "Yo, I'll get you food too." Mm-hmm. And but now they have in some states. I don't know if it's all states, but they have like a limiter. They could only go 3 miles an hour. So I tipped the guy and I go, "Hey, come on, let's whip." And there's this. And I looked at him and go, "My man," and he goes, "Dude, we can't do anything anymore. They limited it. This is in Utah." And we're riding, and I'm not saying this as a joke. I'm being so serious. A girl in a wheelchair flew past us, and I said, "Dude, could you at least go her speed?" And he's like, "No, they have a limiter, so now they can only go 3 miles."
Like, what the? I was like, "George, this is embarrassing. We need to get off." Like, please.
No, it really was embarrassing. By the way, can I set this up? We were rushing because we were like, we have to go. We're meeting Joyce Myers. We just got to Utah. It's early in the morning. I'm with this young lady from my church called Angel, and she's running the church. And so she's in like hightail mode. Like she's grabbing her bag, she's gone, right? And in my brain, I'm like, I can't keep up. And I was too embarrassed to be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, my ribs are hurting right now. And you're making me flex my core. And I just can't do that right now." So Belle goes, but Belle like turns around because she sees me like slowing down. So I literally tipped the guy. I said, "Let's get out of here." And he's like, "Let's get out of here." But this is what pissed me off. He buckled us in.
Yeah. I've never buckled. Dude, I've never buckled in at the Arizona one, and they go so fast. Like where you're like holding on.
Yeah, like they whip.
This one. Oh my gosh.
And they're like really. I told my mom this story yesterday, and my mom goes, "Yeah, they're crazy." I watched them leave this other couple, and they're like, no, we can't carry people. And it takes off. And then they look at my mom and they go, "Hey, you want to get on?" And my mom was like, "Oh, I wanted to, but like I just heard you say no to those other couple." She goes, "Yeah, they're ugly. You're not. Get in."
Literally, yeah, she just told us the story last night. We're like,
I was
what?
like, what? I'm not going to lie. The first thing I thought about was all the people that said no to me. I was like, what was the reason now?
When have they said no?
It wasn't have they said no.
Have you?
I hate when you point your toe at me like that. She goes, "When have they said no?" How have you been, bub?
I've been really wonderful. Yeah, I've been really good, and life is good. God is good. I just wish your rib was better.
You've been taking care of me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, dude, this guy literally has, he really truly has a broken rib.
We don't know that. We haven't seen it.
I do know that. My mom has had broken ribs, and she's like, he has a broken rib. He can't talk, walk, breathe. It's swollen. He literally looks in the mirror this morning, and he was like, "Oh man, it's literally swollen, sticking out of his stomach. There's a hump now where you can see it, and that wasn't there 2 weeks ago." You want to know why I wasn't there 2 weeks ago? Because this guy literally won't stop. He won't let me carry my luggage. Like, dog, it's a carry-on. It's a 10-pound carry-on. He won't let me grab it. He's grabbing other people's luggages. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's going off-roading. Your rib is broken. Like,
Here's the reason why. This is a selfish reason, but I'm recognizable. So if somebody sees me walking behind my wife and my wife's holding all these bags, is going to set an expectation that it's okay for a man to just chill while women are grabbing everything. And that is my biggest pet peeve. I hate when I'm out in the street. I absolutely get so frustrated when I see women carrying the baby and then the cart and then the bag and the man just strolling behind them. I'm like, dude, that's your woman. Like, grab the bags. So they just don't know that I'm in a lot of pain.
I know.
And the pain would hurt me more that they think that I'm that type of guy.
George,
so I'd rather deal with the sharp pain stabbing me than this beautiful princess carrying all these things in front of me. And then what, I look like Muhammad behind you going, good, good girl, carry the bags right now.
That's funny. Yeah. It's true. You know?
You look like a painter.
I love this shirt.
You look like a painter. By the way, Belle is the most, and this is proven facts, the most beautiful woman alive. Oh my gosh. Me and her always, the only thing we argue about is the way she dresses. She needs to dress it down. Show a little bit more skin. Show the world what she got going on.
Why do you gotta say that after you just compliment my shirt? Because the shirt's too flowy for you?
No. I just said I like the shirt.
Okay.
You look like Bob Ross.
Shut up.
Like, if I saw you right now, I'd be like, yo, let's get some canvases, go to the beach, paint this beautiful sunset.
Their shirt is so beautiful and light. I feel so beautiful in it. And then I'm
Imagine me wearing that
beautiful
shirt.
fitted jeans with a nice pair of heels. The juxtaposition is amazing.
Well, the thing is,
We're on a podcast.
and she said this. This is her word. She loves that I don't ever get jealous about what she dresses like, or
praise God.
tell her like, hey, how to dress. But I started telling her how to dress because I'm standing up for the women that want a beautiful body like hers. She wears this beautiful dress the other day, and I was like, oh my God, she like made me like freeze in my place. Okay, then why is my gorgeous supermodel wife wearing baggy jeans like she's in the next hip-hop music video?
Stop using that reference to baggy jeans when it's been 7 years since I've worn baggy jeans.
And hoodies, bro. That's what
George,
you wear.
7
When
years.
you come up to me- When you come up to me and wear that, I just want to go, what's up, homie?
It's been 7 years since I've worn baggy jeans, and this man won't let it down. Also, let me put it this way, okay?
By the way,
Two things.
hold on. The audience sometimes is stupid. There's a lot of stupid people in the audience that comment stupid things. So let me just clarify. My wife could do whatever she wants. She could wear a plastic bag, and I think she's the most gorgeous woman alive. I just encourage her to dress up because sometimes she gets a little insecure. She doesn't want to do too much. And I say, dude, do too much. You're a princess, and a princess deserves to dress like a princess. And honestly, I work hard like a dog so that you have a beautiful life. So go and buy all the dresses you want and be as beautiful as you possibly can and burn all of the baggy jeans that you have.
Not anymore. Thank you so much. Now, listen. I have to say that it's a really, really, really big blessing, like to not have, you know what I mean? Because I know maybe, I don't know, some men might feel insecure. I think of like how I think there's a line obviously between looking beautiful and obviously being inappropriate. And you just want me to like look beautiful. And I think that there's some men that are insecure and that might be like, oh no, you can't, like, don't do that. And you want me to shine. And so I'm so grateful for that because I would hate to be in the other situation.
But I also do that to their woman though. How could they do that to their woman? How could you want to dampen their shine, man? You should be so like excited. Like a lot of guys, they get so angry. If a guy looks at my girl, what? Dude, that's a beautiful compliment. What do you want her to look at her and go like this? Oh, well, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with that? Troll that should be underneath a bridge. No, I want people to look at her and be like, wow, look how beautiful she is. Like, you know, okay, I saw this thing and I wanted to share this. I know I cut you off and I do that a lot and people hate me for it.
It doesn't matter. It's a conversation.
But I saw this thing and it struck me. It was this picture, it was a before and after. And the meme was like, this is how women are before they're in a relationship. And this is how they are after a relationship where they like kind of stop trying and they look bad. And the number one comment, and it was like liked a lot by women. It was like number one comment. And it was like, this girl said, no, that's what her father used to treat her and she looked beautiful. And that's the image of how you treat her.
Yeah.
And bro, that struck me because I've seen beautiful women that get into a relationship and then become not as beautiful as they were before because they look stressed or like kind of over it type of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does that make any sense?
Oh, 100%. It's because at the end of the day, the way that you feel eternally and the way that you and that other people make you feel is going to reflect on how you dress yourself. And so when you don't feel good about yourself, you're not going to want to put on those jeans that fit tight. You're not going to want to put on, like, you know what I mean, a tank top that like accentuates your shoulders or whatever it might be, because you don't feel good, right? You're going to want to hide away. And so if you are in a relationship that is toxic or where you don't feel valued or you don't feel beautiful about yourself, then yeah, that's going to reflect on how you dress yourself and stuff like that, you know?
I think that you put out the confidence that you have. For example, you're not insecure. So when I dated other women in my past, they would make me feel bad about things because they didn't want things to happen or behave in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because of their own reflection of their heart.
Totally.
And when I met you, you lifted me up higher. You like were so confident in yourself that you made me feel a little bit more beautiful and smart. So like, I don't know. I feel like it's what you're giving them. So I understand that comment where he's like, well, that's how she was underneath the authority of her father. And her father was probably like, you're so beautiful. Look at you, so smart. She was just beamed that.
Yeah.
And then guys, what happens, and this is such, and maybe I said guys, but girls do this too. Sometimes when you're in a relationship and you feel like you're not worthy for the relationship, you try to, instead of get to their level in life, you bring them down to your level of life. Like, oh, I'm
Yes.
moody, and so you're going to be moody. And,
Totally.
And dude, if you're in a relationship like that, you got to break it off. Like, you got to cut it and bounce. Because I was in a relationship, and I tell this to Belle all the time, the greatest gift that God has ever given me is a broken heart in the past. All the women that shattered me or cheated on me or left me, like, and I used to look up at God, be like, man, I treated them so well. Why did I get treated like this? And it's because God's like, no, you don't deserve that. And so I made them, like Pharaoh, turn their heart against you and send you off. And then I met you. And I thank God every day. Like, and I don't mean to be cheesy when I say this, but I'm kind of glad I went through those really bad relationships.
Of course.
Because during the times that me and you ever like get like bump heads, I laugh because I'm like, dude, this is
Yeah.
a paradise of an argument.
Oh,
Like
100%.
a paradise of an argument.
And dude, you want to know what's crazy? Everything that you just said about the way that like your father treats you, right? And so like when the girl was under a father who like loved her and she shined, and then, you know, it's the same thing as our heavenly Father. You know, the
Amen.
Jesus glow.
Amen.
That's a little,
Amen.
yes.
Amen. Yeah.
Once you find your relationship with God, everybody says like, oh, you had that Jesus glow. It's because like you found your heavenly Father, and now you feel like true love and peace in your life. And that literally transforms you on the inside out. And then you have the Jesus glow.
Dude, Proverbs says that the greatest gift is a good wife, right? And that feeling and that glow that you're talking about comes from being loved.
Yeah.
So when people understand, oh, Jesus really loves me, I don't have to work for it, he loves me, then they walk around confident in life and ready in life. When a man has a woman, when a man has a woman that we didn't even plan on going in this direction, but maybe this is good for people to hear. When a man has a woman and he feels like it's not 100% his, that is the hardest feeling to go through. Like where you're with a girl and in your heart, you're like, would she leave me if the circumstances were like this? Or would she leave me and so? That's why it grosses me out when I hear people say this. They're like, oh, who's your hall pass? Like if somebody or this celebrity.
Yeah, dude, I never understood that.
Yo, homie, what? You mean just another bone and flesh walks by, and just because of the status or the money or the power, then it's okay. Like, dude, are you crazy? Like, what gives me confidence to wake up in the morning is if that I was piss poor, if I was the most successful man in the world, I own your heart and I love, and that's to me is my treasure. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
And so this circles back to what I always tell people. Like, a good relationship is either going to be in like wings, or it's going to be bad and it's going to be an anchor.
Yeah, 100%. But I think it's also too, you know what's so sad is like, it's that lie like of, I think a lot of people, because they categorize celebrities in this fashion of like, oh, they're in a different category than us, and they idolize them, that they think that they're so unattainable and that they're such a different category of life that they're like, oh, I could never possibly encounter Jessica Alba, and she's just this goddess or whatever. So of course it's okay that she's on my list and that I dream about sleeping with her, and so she's on my what's that list called again?
Hall pass?
Hall pass list. You know what I mean? And that's so sad, and that's like the lie of like the world of us, of of that being fed to men. You know what I mean? That it is okay to like lust after people that are in the light because, it's just different. You know what I mean?
Listen, everybody has their falls, right? Mine was when I was younger. If I even looked at a girl, she'd be like, excuse me, stop looking at me. I'm like, oh, it's like, okay. So when I grew up and I was getting women's attention, I was like, oh, this is great. I never want to let this go. So it's kind of like if you didn't have it, now you have it type of thing. Mm-hmm. I think the best advice I could give to a guy who's like single or looking for a relationship or maybe in a relationship and he doesn't know if it's the right one, it's cheesy and everybody's always said this in the past, but it's like sometimes you got to be alone. Sometimes you got to figure out who you are and like move along because you are who you hang out with. And I've noticed that a lot of bad relationships are people that are just desperate to find a partner and they just want to be in that relationship and they feel safe. And it's just like, dude, how do I say this? Like a worst fear is like, okay, well, what if she's the only one? And I don't find anybody. But I think the worst fear should be, what if you start something serious with this woman, maybe get married, maybe have kids, and you're like just doing it because you're trying to go with emotions, and then all of a sudden you meet somebody that you're like, whoa, like that used to be my biggest fear. In fact, every relationship I was in, every single one of them, I knew they weren't the one. Like in my heart of heart, I used to be like, I can't see me marrying this person. Like, or we got to really work this if we're going to make it work. Like, but it was never like, oh, this is my wife until I went on a date with you. And I was like, oh, this is it. You just know. That's why if you meet people that are like super in love and they've been in love for a long time, bro, you know, it's a different feeling. You know, like if we're talking about relationships, there is something that I kind of want to hang myself out to dry is one of these moments. Nope. I grew up in a house where my mom was like, hey, you should wait until you're married. Like really honor the covenant between you and God. Like don't have sex like outside of marriage. I grew up, I was 8 years with this girl and I was really in love with her. And
8 years?
8 years. 8 years from, I met her when I was 11 years old. All the way to like 18, 19. I never talked to another girl. Like me and her always thought we were going to be together and it was like an Assyrian thing. And when we were old enough to make it official, like, hey, you're my boyfriend, I'm your girlfriend. I was like 17 or 18 or something like that. I got so excited. I woke my mom and dad up. They were asleep. I was like, hey, psst, because we like made that plan like 2 o'clock in the morning. And my dad's like, shut up, go to bed, man. Like he didn't care at all. So I had my first girlfriend, and then she ended up hooking up with my best friend. And I found out his car was broken up on the side of the road. So I fixed his car and it starts running and my phone isn't on me. And so I turn to him and I say, my phone isn't working. Can I use your phone? And he hands me the phone and he goes, yeah, but I don't have her number saved. And I said, oh, it's totally fine. I memorized her number. So I put in her number and it came out as Paris. Dude. And I was so innocent then that I was like, that's so weird. You had somebody else in your phone back in the day. Like that's how like my brain wouldn't go there.
Yeah, of course.
And so then I was like, that's so funny. And then I clicked to text and then I just see my name and they were both just shredding me.
No.
Yeah. And back in the day, I used to fight a lot. So I looked at him and he got really nervous because like I would have, technically the old me, I would have gone to jail that day. Like I blacked out. But I just gave him his phone and I looked at him and I just walked away. And around 18 or 19 years old, I got a hardened heart because I was like, dang, dude, I just wasted so much of my time and it shattered me. So then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sleep with the next girl that like I have any type of thing with. And I did. And then I went to Hollywood, and because that was ripped off in my brain, I was like, all right, well now that like it's already done, so like we just keep going. And then I went into Hollywood, and when I was in Hollywood, I didn't even think of it anymore as a problem. I was just kind of like, oh, this is life. This is like, and then when I get married, I'll just be with her. And it just became a lifestyle. And the lifestyle, you have to feed it. It doesn't just stay there. You have to keep going with that lifestyle. And I just remember I was at a place where sexuality was so numb to me that I remember looking up at God and feeling so bad. And I was like, wow, like on this earth, it's no big deal. In fact, you're weird if you don't do this. And in the eyes of God, I was like, wow, I really rejected your heart to satisfy my heart and to be normal around my peers. And listen, I built this all up to say this, that I understand why you did do it or you didn't do it or whatever you're at. But I will say this. When you ask God for help, sometimes you feel like he's about to take out a whip and just whip you. And like, you're going to not listen to me? Right? So I walk up and I say my prayer and I said, Lord, I became, to be honest, a legit, in my eyes, how my mother would see me, how my father would see me, it's horrible behavior. It's not a behavior of a Christian man. Now, mind you, am I pimping myself out for money? No. Should I have? Absolutely.
Shut up, man. Doesn't mean.
It's so funny. I was great at it. I'm sorry. So I go to God and I said, this says, I've walked away from the way that you want me to behave. Help me. Like, help me not sin against you anymore. Like, and not to dive even deeper, but pornography, I feel like, became such second nature that men would just discuss women that they were watching online. Like, it was like we're collecting baseball cards. Like, it was just, we're numb. My friends would be dating porn stars and we would just be sitting here like casually like, oh, we haven't seen this woman naked. Like, we have. Like, this is weird. It became, and then I just sat there and I thought like how far I was from the man that my mom raised in church. And I was like, dude, we would laugh and think that these people are burning in hell. And now I'm just sitting here casually being like, this is normal. Anyway, so I go to God and I go, God, help me stop sinning against you. I don't want to look at women disrespectfully. I don't want to just look from one woman to the next woman. I want to be married to one woman and be good and just help me. And when I send off that prayer, my stomach went into like a gnarly panic because in my brain, I don't know why, maybe I don't know if you guys think this, but I'm like, horrible car accident, I lose my penis. Like, it's that type. They're all shaking their head. It's like that. It's like you just got a terminal illness. You can't get it up anymore. And it's just like, yo, God, I didn't want it like that. You know what I mean? And so I always think of the worst case scenario when you ask God for help, where he's like, okay, well, in the gospel, it says to rip your arm off and throw it in the fire before. So in my brain, I'm like, oh, he's going to rip it off.
Yeah.
But I told him in my heart, I said, if that has to be done for me to honor you the way that I should honor you, I pray it doesn't happen. But I want to honor you. And then I get introduced to you. And that's why, like, I love you so much and I try so hard in this relationship, is because I didn't go into the relationship thinking I deserved you. I went into the relationship thinking that I was the least that deserved you. And then he gave me a girl that it was impossible for me to look at other women. And don't get me wrong, like when we first started dating, I even opened up to you that it was hard for me to be in a monogamous relationship. And then that's what makes me cry now, is that I broke your heart and came up to you with those type of problems and stuff. And the only reason I wanted to put myself out there is because a lot of people compliment us and they think that we're just stemmed from a perfect beginning. But after thinking about that, I realized everybody in hell shakes their hands at God and says, I don't deserve this. And I believe that's how heaven's going to be like. We're going to be like, we don't deserve this.
Yeah.
So I think heaven and hell are full of people that think that they do not deserve this. And so I don't deserve you at all. And I think that you're like one of the greatest gifts. And I'm still learning how to behave in the relationship in different formats. Like the way I talk to you on a podcast, like I have an entertainment version of me. And sometimes that talks over you, or it makes me shine too much and it looks like I'm dampening your shine. And there's a lot of things that I'm trying to fix. But if you really want a relationship worth crying in front of the whole world for, ask your Lord and Savior. deserve this. In fact, it's so funny. I didn't even meet her. Mark came up to me in my house and goes, "Hey, I met your wife." And I was like, "What?" And I'm high, bro. And then people are like, "Dude, why do you have to say that?" It's like, because it's true. People think they have to be so perfect for God to act in their life. It's not. I was a degenerate loser, just smoking and doing, I still smoke every once in a while, but like, I'm just saying, like, it's just the posture of your heart. I think we all sin against God. I think there's just some people that hate that they sin against God. And that's why when I read Romans and I see Paul saying, when am I going to stop doing this? And this is why when I bring, like, people don't understand, bro, like what I was going through when I had Cliff and Stewart on my podcast.
Yeah.
And I used to sob to them is because I saw a life that I had that people would congratulate me for, but I felt like super unworthy. I was on a podcast where people are like, "Oh, wow, you have such a good relationship." But at the same time, I'm having a mourning feeling because of what I've done and like how I behaved. And now when me and you are together, like it's worth every broken heart, every tear, every blood that was spilled. Like I would go through it 3 times over again. So I say that in hopes that somebody is sitting in a relationship or outside of a relationship and their heart is significantly broken and they feel empty and lost and not loved. One, you are loved. Jesus loves you way more than Shauna could ever love me. And dude, just ask him. The Bible doesn't say work for it and you shall receive. It says ask and you shall receive. I was in my brain the farthest, like my mom and the reason why I'm like choking up is because I knew very well what I was doing when I was doing it. And God knows. God knows that I willingly sinned against him and did whatever I wanted, acted however I wanted. And then I had the audacity to ask him. And
he met you with love instead of a whip.
God bless. I always cry on this podcast. I don't cry every day, by the way. Like, I know it looks like I do, but I don't.
Wow, it's so beautiful.
Speaking of this, I just want to say, I was with Joyce Myers and a bunch of preachers, and they were all just taking turns crying, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm like one of these guys."
but it's not a reflection of, like I think a lot of people would say like, "Oh, it's not manly" or what, but it is. It's like it's always a group of the most manliest men. But when you talk about the Spirit, and I think that's what's so beautiful is when you talk about the Holy Spirit, it makes you cry because it's alive in you. You know what I mean? And so when you talk about these things, you feel exactly what you went through, And I just think that it's so beautiful. And I think something too that like, I've heard you explain this before so many times, but for some reason, it never really hit me that for you, that must have made you.
We're both in it. We're both in it, dude. Oh, thank God, dude, because it's a lot worse if just a man is crying on the podcast.
Well, bro, I mean, you think you're about it, I'm worse, but you must have mourned it even more. Because I guess I never even looked at your positioning that I think there's like a difference between when you don't know. Like for you grew up knowing. I never even thought about that. Like for me, I guess I only ever looked at it from my perspective of I didn't know like the life that I lived before I knew God, but I didn't know. Like I genuinely didn't know. And I thought that this was normal. And then once your eyes are open, you're like, oh my goodness, like thank you for pulling me out of that. Like this life is so much better. It's filled with so much love and peace but I don't have that mourning so badly as you do. No, I'm just saying that in general that there's such a difference of like when it comes to everything that God like prepared for us and how he wants us to live. When your eyes are close to it, there's that difference of like never knowing like the way before and just like living in the world. And you know what I mean? When it comes to like swearing, when it comes to like living just in the world versus the heart that you had where it's like you saw what you should have done and like what your mom like taught you and what God prepared in front of you, but it's also, you shouldn't have so much like hurt on yourself, because it's very normal to see your peers and to see the world around you telling you what you think is cool or what is good, right? You know what I mean? But then
I had loved ones, family members, friends that would tell me to do things that I knew that the Lord would be angry with, because they were like, you're young and you're successful. Get it out of your system. That's why I always tell people, like, that's such an evil message, bro. First of all, you don't get it out of your system. There's no such thing as that. That's not even a real thing. But knowing you're doing something wrong versus not knowing what you're doing something wrong. Like Jesus' last words were, forgive them for they don't know. But if you know, it's significantly a different sin. I just want, the reason why I hang myself out to dry like this and look dumb in my brain, like I feel like I look dumb when I do this, is because the influences that men have nowadays are like Andrew Tates and like people that are like, yo, you got to sleep with them, all these women, you got to be powerful, you got to be rich. And I sat at their feet and learned. I sat at everybody's feet and learned. My dad asked me to be a sponge, absorb. I went to all these men, and dude, their homes were cold. Their wives weren't there to love them. They were there to prosper. Their children didn't even know who their dad was. I don't want that powerful lifestyle where the only reason they're getting out of bed is to conquer and destroy and provide. Nah, bro. Like, I don't do this because I have to. I do this because I get to. I get to be a good husband to you. God allows me to. I get to go on stage and perform and make people laugh. The Lord allowed me to. It's arrogant to think otherwise when you're just doing things for yourselves. And to be honest, in the industry, from my own friend's mouth, what I used to hear used to turn my stomach around. Like, it would make me feel like I was sitting with demons, and they didn't even know that they were demons. I'll give you an example. I have a lot of ball player friends. I have a lot of athlete friends, and one of the girls just found out she got cheated on, and they're at a bowling alley. That's like a weird place to like gather and give yourself comfort. But so I went to this stupid bowling alley for my friend, and I'm sitting there and being like, giving her good advice. Like, okay, you found out, that's good. You know, it's going to be hard for a little bit. Just move on, you know? And then her friend comes around, married to a ball player. And she's like, what is he talking about? Don't listen to him. You got to just be there for him. You're his first pick. You're going to be his baby mama. You're going to be able to raise his kids and have his finance and have a life that other women could never dream. And I'm just sitting here being like, there's no way that this girl's giving this advice. Yeah. But I couldn't step in and be like, hey, don't listen to this bitch. She's retarded. Like, this girl's broken in her own sense. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there looking at her, and I that's when I just realized, I'm like, oh, like, we're in such a cold-hearted area that people are acting so chaotic without even thinking that it's chaotic. They're thinking that it's just normal.
It's so chaotic that they feel like there's no way out of it. And so you have to just accept that. Like, that's the love that you have to just accept and like put up with. Yeah. Because otherwise it's like you either have one or the other. But I think it was so beautiful. I would never want you to have a different past or a different past sorry, I said that twice. I would never want you to have a different walk, because God put you through these experiences in order to have the heart that you have now. And like, he opened your eyes to that now. And so now, like, you're in the place where you see our marriage for what it is. You see it for the blessing that it is. And like, that's the biggest blessing that I get to have. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you.
Yeah.
There's a few sayings that I hear that I kind of want to call out and try to hope change. A lot of guys say, well, there's no good girls anymore. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
I tell that all the time. I'm like, dude, don't date or wait for the right girl. And then they'll always say, well, what right girl, bro? All these girls are hoes. I was like, oh. And by the way, a lot of men speak this way. It's not confusing to me at all. The music that you guys produce for these women to dance to and act and behave like are. Now, do I dance to that? Yeah, it's a good beat. I rock it. But I don't let that culture dictate the position of how I behave. That's crazy. So if you're listening to this music and be like, whatever, dude, all these girls are hoes, change the music, man. Start listening to Beethoven, bro. Like, start changing the way you listen to things or hear things, or change your eyes, change your ears. Like, enough of that. And for women, I'm not going to sit here and give you advice because I'm not a woman, but I would say this: carry yourself higher. If men are grabbing you guys that easily off the tree, aim higher, man. Set your standards higher. Don't let some dude in a tank top with a chain around his neck and a red cup hitting on you be the standard of where you want to meet a man. Maybe go to church. Maybe find a guy who's searching for God and purpose. Maybe go to a freaking bookstore where a guy's looking at literature. Your guys' standards are low is because you set them there. Don't set them there. I've met men that have beautiful relationships with women. They didn't settle. They didn't just bop into a club and meet this one girl and say, okay, this is my girl, and then just move on. No, have standards for yourself. Is she classy? Would you want her to bring her around your mom? Would you be proud of her if your kids behaved like her? That's the reason why I met Belle. When I met Belle, it was the only time I ever dated a girl. I was like, I pray to God my kids act like her, not me. All the other times, I was like, oh, Jesus, if I get this girl pregnant, what if the kids act like her? And then I just kept sitting there. I'm like, bro, that's a terrible placement to be in. Sorry, I don't know why we went into like a whole relationship podcast today, but I just feel like nowadays people are like overextending themselves because of social media, and they're looking at fake pictures and fake relationships, and they're seeing it as the standard. And so there's a lot more suicide and depression and a culture of like hopelessness. And I just want to tell you guys, all you got to do is ask God, and then just start moving in that behavior. Like, okay, I'll just say this and we'll move on. If you're asking and not receiving in your mind, you're never going to receive it. You got to ask and know in your heart that God's going to give it to you. If you just ask and go, it's not going to happen. It's based off of faith. Speaking of Andrew Tate, I brought up Andrew Tate, and I kind of wanted to circle back to that because he just got arrested. And I don't know too much, man. Like, a lot of people say, hey, you know, he's bad for the world. A lot of people say he's good for the world. I've had a conversation with him. I could tell that he's passionate and he really believes in trying to make men become better men. But he also has this narrative where they're like, yo, they're trying to silence me. Like, I'm trying to help out these men and they're silencing me. And I will admit, when I did work with him, all of the stuff that I worked with him got pressed down. It was like shut down. My TikTok got destroyed from it.
Yeah.
In the UK, they're like banning him from schools and stuff like that. I'm kind of like split because in my brain, I don't want to stand up too much. Because like, what if I'm like, no, Andrew Tate, he's good, man. And then like a couple years go by and they bring out some evidence and I'm like, hey, yo, I didn't know. You know, so like, I don't know. But we're caught up in an area right now where we don't know anything. You know what I mean? Like, we look at the Jeffrey Epstein stuff and we're so certain about that, but yet there's nothing going on there. And then with Andrew Tate, we're like, we haven't seen anything like that, but they're so certain and they're locking them up. To me, it's just kind of weird, right? Like, why are they not doing this with all the politicians? Why are they not doing this with all the actors and the models that were a part of this Jeffrey Epstein stuff? They don't touch them at all. But the guy who's telling men to be men, they're like, this guy gotta go. And so I'm kind of caught, and I'm not coming on this podcast to tell you guys how I feel. I just want to ask you, like, I want to read the comments. How do you guys feel? Like, do you guys feel like he's a criminal and they should get him? Or do you guys feel like, no, he's actually pushing people in the right direction and they're trying to silence him? I've only gotten the feeling that this guy truly believes in making money by trying to build up men. And I don't like to tear people down or be somebody who's two-faced where I hang out with somebody and I agree with them in person, and then behind closed doors when they're going through things being like, yeah, no, bro, he's in a bad place. But I don't know, man. Like, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, actually. Like, what do you guys think?
I mean, I don't really know. I feel like there hasn't been evidence of like what the case is about, why they arrested him. I mean, like,
there's 59 charges, bro.
Yeah.
59 charges. But in my mind, they locked him up, but then they let him go. And then now they're grabbing him again. To me, it seems like they're trying to figure things out to put him away. But isn't a man who's guilty kind of like guilty that he has like evidence? Like, he's done this. Like, here's the evidence of it. And now like the what they're labeling him as is even grosser than before. It keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's just like, if there's even a shred of evidence, right? Put it out there for all of us to see so we can know and be like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Like, that guy's, He's not good.
But so who are the charges coming from?
The UK.
But like who? Like, is it personal people in the UK or is it the government in the UK? Like,
I don't know. I have no idea. But there's a lot of people saying that they're not going to come out. Like, this is their last time. And his last interview was kind of eerie because they're like, oh, they're about to get me. So, but like, dude, do you think? Okay, I'm I'm kind of playing both fields, right? Isn't that something a genius would say? You know what I mean? Like, get the world to be ramped up. Like, God forbid he did do those things.
Yeah.
He could easily just go like, oh, they're gonna get me, and they're gonna plant these things, and they're never real. And so that way, when he does go down, there's a lot of people that be like, that's baloney. That he didn't do that. Blah blah blah.
that's what's so hard is like you just don't know anymore. And then that's the big thing I think about AI is now we're being so it's who's to say what's true, what's not true? Are those pictures real or are they fake? Like we just don't know. And then it goes
that's
back
crazy.
to this.
I never thought about that. You mean they would fake evidence to put them away?
Well, we just don't know. We see things ourselves where we're like, I literally don't know if this video is real or if it's AI.
Well, in history, they've always done that.
Yeah. So now, exactly. Could he be saying they're going to get me to warn us because he didn't do any of those things? Or could he say they're going to get me to cover his own butt? We don't know. But then with Epstein, they literally have photo proof. This man has art on his walls, physically on his walls, that is proof that can incriminate him. And yet the case is like difficult to do something about.
I just don't grasp it.
So
I just don't understand why him. You know what I mean? A dude with glasses and a cigar yelling on a live stream is not making more progress than the dude that's in government or the guy who's in a lobby. Hard cut. I'm on the camera like, they're trying to get me. Guys, I'm not suicidal.
But this all started because in the UK, boys in school, like so in London, they were watching Andrew Tate videos and they were watching these things and they were starting to say like some of the ideologies that he was sharing, some of the ones that have to do when it just comes to like masculinity and being strong and the man that you are and being a leader. You know, I don't know any of the other stuff when it comes to like what Andrew Tate does in his relationships with women. I don't know enough to say, and I don't know if I agree or disagree because I don't know. Okay,
no, hold on.
But
we disagree. We don't agree with how.
No, I'm saying because I don't know.
Illegal. He could have his preference.
Yeah, but I don't know. I hear he has multiple wives. I hear his multiple girlfriends. I don't know. So I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking when it comes to just being like exactly like a manly man and being a leader. So all these boys in London were watching these videos and they were starting to kind of like question what they were being taught, and then teachers in school started talking to the principals and things like that, and they were like, hey, these boys are watching Andrew Tate, this can't happen. And then so they like banned it. So they banned boys from watching him.
Boys were getting up and telling their teachers like, no, you're a woman, you don't tell me what to say, I'm in charge, I'm the top G.
See, well, that's wrong.
That's unacceptable. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just want everybody here to know that I'm not suicidal. Do you ever see everybody that says that? Like, they're like, just want to let everybody know that I'm not suicidal. Bro, the government doesn't care. You know? Like, they don't care. You know what I mean? Like, you're not making that much of a noise, dude.
No, I think those people are getting active threats.
No,
like,
I know, but
you know
it's
what I mean?
so funny. Like, this guy has like 3,000 likes on a video. They're like, I just want everybody here to know. I don't think the government's staying up at night being like, we got to get this guy.
Because they're scared.
There's so many more easier ways to take you out. Like, one, they could just like delete your Instagram. You know what I mean? Like, that's step one. Like, they don't need to go and murder you. You're from like Connecticut eating pizza on a corner. They're not, we got to get this guy out of here, dude. This is like everybody. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like the 70s again, where everybody was smoking weed and paranoid. I am so over everybody being paranoid. At this point, they're like, is the world going to end? I'm like, it happened already. Just do it. I'm sick of waiting. Like, if we're going to go to World War III, let it rock. Let's go. I'm ready for it.
But why would you say you have like that peace and that understanding?
Why do I have that piece?
Yeah. Like how did you get that piece to be able to not be like anxious and not be worried about it?
I get so mad. Actually, this is really fun. I would get so mad that Belle would not care. I would get unbelievable amount of ammunition and food and water supplies, bunkers. I got family stuff stored for other people. I got everything. And I'm like, Belle, it's going to happen. Like, we got to be prepared. We got to do this. And then she's just like, eh. I'm like, Belle, how do you know what I know and you just don't care? And this is a brand new Christian, by the way.
By the way, I didn't ask that question for this answer, but But like, go on. It sounds like I teed you up for that. I did not know this is what he was gonna
like,
say.
yeah, how did
I was
you,
like, but how do you know?
How did you know about this?
I gotta say that, dude. I was asking you so you could tell people how to have peace over it.
You asked me for an alley oop. I got you the
But
alley-oop.
bro, that
I'm
is
setting
not-
you up, bro. I'm setting you up.
That is not why I. But
No, but a lot of my learning curves is because God blessed me with a wife that had a brain. Instead of suppressing it and making it think like I know more than her, I grabbed for what he was teaching you and I learned from it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And of course, that's what you told me to say, right? And so I asked her, I said, yo, like, are you not scared? Like, we're not going to have kids. Like, we're not going to do this. Like, because I was actually one of those people that were like, I don't want kids, bro. And I said the stupidest thing. I said, I don't want to bring kids in this type of world. Bro, we're all so dramatic, bro. Like, I don't want to bring a kid. I have such a beautiful life too. By the way, I just want to let you know, ask God to correct your eyes. I have the same life, but because I asked him to help me be grateful, I only see gratitude.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the same position. I had a broken rib and I just can't stop laughing this week. Like I have so much to be grateful for, but the devil has you distracted. Let me tell you something. If the devil can't destroy you, he'll distract you. And he was distracting me. He got me thinking I got to do a lot of things and be a lot of things and act a lot of things. Anyway, so I walked up to her. I was like, why are you you're not scared? And she goes, no. She goes, because we have Jesus and like I'll meet Jesus for the first time in real life. And I was like, why didn't my heart go there? Like, why did I not think that way like immediately? And it wasn't that actually changed me into not fearing about the end of the world. I asked this other guy, I said, man, my wife is so good at that, but I'm so bad at that. Like, I still worry a little bit. And he said, anytime you're scared about the world ending is because you're thinking of how good the world is and how much more you have to accomplish. He goes, but next time I want you to think about all the suffering in the world and what he's going to do to release that. And I was like, wow. And then from there, that's when I was like, all right, Lord, like, I love life. I want a future. I want to prosper. I want to be fruitful and multiply. But if you want this to end and you want to move on to doing that, like, thank you. And again, I asked him for that wisdom. I didn't have that wisdom. I wasn't like walking on water there. I was scared. Because imagine you're working your whole life for something. I just got it. And then now everybody's saying this. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is, why do I want to continue? Should I just go vacation and travel the world? But the devil, again, if he's not going to destroy you, he's going to distract you.
But also it's so fair. Like you're in a different position, I think, too, initially. I think it's a different journey to get to that place because you're the man and the leader, like in your business and in our marriage, and you feel the weight of like protecting me and making sure that we are safe. Like at the end of the day, if the house burns down, if the world ends and there's an apocalypse and people are banging down on our door, he's not going to ask me to go guard the door and figure it out. Like, you know that you're the one that's going to have to be frontline, you know, figuring out a protection or peace, and you're going to be the one protecting our kids. Yeah. So you have a different responsibility at the end of the day. And so that weighs on you. And so in return, it's like the weight of our peace and comfort and our joy, in a sense, like was like really weighing on you. You know what I mean?
It was, but you challenged me, and it's good that you challenged me.
Yeah.
A lot of couples don't challenge each other anymore, and that's a really bad place to be in. I think it's very, very healthy to challenge each other. I was terrified when I looked at Belle. I said, I don't want kids, bro. I don't want, because this world is wild, bro. Like I was like, where am I gonna put these kids in school? Blah blah blah. And also like I never grew up being like, oh, I want a bunch of kids. I was always selfish. I was always like about me, like what do I want to do? You know, like I want to travel the world. You know, and Belle hit me with, and she knows exactly how to talk to me, bro. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with power. It has to do with how God looks at me. And she leans over and she goes, oh, so you're just going to disobey God like that, huh? And I said, what? I was like, what? What did I do? And she goes, he told you to be fruitful and multiply. He didn't care about your circumstance or the generation you were born in. And I was like, all right, get in bed. We'll make some babies right now.
You know, there's a really cheesy saying, but I love it. And it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. And I would rather,
dude, I don't know about that, man, because I think about it all the time. If God forbid I lost you, that would be like, I'd rather not know than walk this earth.
Really?
What? Are you kidding me? Belle, I talk to God all the time. I go, God, if they get me, make sure they get my wife too. I love her so much. I don't even want her on this planet without me, man. You know how people are like, they look at their wives and they're like, babe, if anything happens to me, I want you to move on and and have a husband. And I looked at Belle. I was like, don't think about it.
It's like, you're mine. We're meeting up in heaven. No, well, I feel that way too. But I think if it's funny because it's like different. See, I love you so much that I think I'd rather.
Maybe we shouldn't have a
So
podcast.
embarrassing.
Maybe we shouldn't.
I'd rather like be in, and maybe that's just how I look at it. Like when it comes to how much I love you or how much I love Tommy, like, you know, how we talk about like, man, like the day that of like losing our dog, it's such a pain, but I'd rather like have that deep love for you and for Tommy. I'd rather have that pain of God forbid when I lose Tommy or God forbid losing like you or anyone else. I'd rather feel that horrible pain knowing that I've had that amazing love in my life. Like, you know what I mean? It's so worth it. That pain, I think, is so worth the huge love that we get. I'd rather have that.
It's a hard. I saw this video. I believe his name's Jimmy Darts. You guys know that guy who like goes around. He's like, "Oh, can I have a few bucks?" And they're like, "I got nothing, but here's $1." And then he's like, "Why did you do that? Here's $1 million." And their life has changed forever.
Yeah.
I hate his videos, bro. Because anytime I watch his videos, I just cry. Literally, my shirt is wet. And I unfollowed him at one point because I was like, bro, I can't. This is like wrecking me. Like, I literally couldn't sit here and watch these videos. And I watched this video of a girl recently. He just posted this. And it is my biggest fear, man. Like, I make jokes about God taking you out too with me, but my biggest fear is leaving you behind and like somebody not taking care of you or being with you. And this woman just lost her husband and she lost her house. And I just always ask God, like, now that's why, like, this is getting me. That's why God says, go after the orphans and the widows. Because they're truly just like, bro, like, imagine being in a world full of tech and updates and all this stuff, and your husband, the leader of your home that helped you your whole life with your kids and everything, like, he's gone. And now you don't have money. You don't have any. This girl had nothing. And when he helped her out, I sat in my room and cried for like 10 minutes because I was like, imagine her heart and her mind at the time where she's in a grocery store. She picks up a ring. She could have easily pawned it for more money because she has nothing going on for her right now. But she says, oh, this isn't mine. And he blesses her. And then now there's a link online and people are like, oh, there's a GoFundMe. And now the whole world is coming together to help this widow. And what happened to us, bro? Why did we start this podcast so much? We're like, today we were like, we're going to make people laugh. We're going to tell all these stories. And then we just sat down and we're just like in our feelings.
But they're good feelings, I think. No?
I think so. And by the way, Belle and I like do this, like, if we're like on a road trip, we have 6 hours. We never listen to music. We'll just sit there and like cry and talk about things and just sit there and cry. You know, a lot of people, they say Western Christianity is weak, and they see Christians that are sensitive. Or I pray that one day they realize that the man who knows when to cry at the right time and like build is actually a lot more stronger than you would ever imagine. Like, he's not shutting it down and turning his heart off. He's acknowledging it. And Jesus Christ is my greatest influence, and he heavily wept when he saw brokenness because he understood it, he felt it. A lot of people are like, rub dirt in it, man up, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, we're not saying we're not men. We're not saying we're not handling it. But we're also not sweeping it underneath the rug and letting that person not feel that type of pain. And then there's a lot of people that are like, well, Christians don't stand up and fight. And it's like, yeah, but the way we fight is to win a greater battle. It's not an ego battle where it's like, I'm going to be the last one standing. It's, I want to be the last one serving. I want to make sure that the people around me are loved and taken care of. That's a true leader. A one who doesn't care about how people think about him or what he needs, but what his neighbors need and what he could do for them. That's a real leader. Trust me, if you have a real leader in your house, a lot of people watching this have a real leader in their home. We're blessed to have a real leader in our home. We have fathers that love God and chase God. And if you meet a man after God's heart, you're going to see a very, very broken heart. One who looks at the world and weeps at it because it's broken. The gospel says that we're going to hate this world, man. And I don't think anybody hates this world more than I do. Not because of the way it is and like our circumstances. I'm super blessed. But the fact that I'm looking at this generation growing up, looking at what they think they need to be like, the suicides rates being so high, that's what we hate. And that's what we're trying to fight. So don't let anybody convince you that it's weak to cry and that it's weak to feel these emotions. It's funny because the people that come after me, and I never come after people online that come after me, but I'll say there's a certain thing that people say, they're like, oh, he's all about his feelings. And that used to irritate me before because I was like, what? Like, how could you do anything off of feelings? Are you a robot? Like you have to have your feelings first. That's how you dictate where you're going. Now, feelings are not facts, and it's not like it's going to dictate the thing, but it's like for you to throw away the feeling, it's like the facts don't even matter then. That being said, if you're going to shut it off, it's going to turn on one day. And it's going to come, I don't know how to explain it.
No, I love what you're saying because I think it's easy to act on your anger, for example, like to suppress things and to just be like, you know what, like whatever, I'll just be a man about it and I'll just like, and or like to act upon like being really angry and try to like destroy and like fight. But it's harder. And I think that it's manlier and it takes more courage in order to really like truly understand, okay, like, why am I feeling this way? It's okay for me to feel this way. It's okay for me to mourn this, to have an emotion towards this, and or to say like, you know what, the best way out of this situation is not for me to act out of like anger and fight and like violence, but for me to look at like, all right, Jesus, how do you want me to deal with this situation? That's the harder thing to do, right? Is to ask God, how do you want me to deal with this? Yes.
Yeah. Also, anger is an emotion. And people like think it's not. They're like, you gotta like just get up and dust yourself off. And it's like, well, you're still dealing with it. You're just choosing to deal with it that way. My mom used to always say, deal with it right away. Don't let it linger. If you're angry, deal with it right away. Go up to that person. Like okay, let me give you an example. People that think I'm weak, oh, this is great. I love this. People that think I'm weak and I have too much feelings, they'll never have a conversation with me. Because it's limited. Once their emotions get intact, they have to leave. They can't sit there and deal with the emotion.
Yeah.
I could sit there and talk about all of my trauma. I could sit there and talk about all of their trauma. They lock up and they don't know how to talk. So you're broken. Your emotions have mastered you. You haven't mastered your emotions. Do you get it?
Absolutely.
Does that make any sense?
Of course it does.
Anyway, so cry a little bit more.
God can't hold that. No, I think I liked too what you said in the beginning, and we were talking about it this week, is like Jesus wept for us and with us. And somebody just said this weekend when, you know, Jesus, he wept with Mary and Martha when they lost their brother, even though he knew that he was going to bring him back. Yet because of their pain and their suffering, he wept with them. And he knew what was going to happen next was going to be good.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. The shortest Bible verse in the gospel is Jesus wept. Isn't that crazy, dude? You know, if we're going to reflect about Jesus, I always think about this. Like, I do believe that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. I do believe that he is God. And sometimes I literally just stare at the sunset and I have this biggest smile on my face that how blessed are we that he sits on the throne, man, and not us. Like, we are like we're not good. He's good. You know what I mean? Like, but imagine the one who created the universe wasn't good. Imagine he was a ruthless, like, tyrant where they demanded you bow to him and you must worship him. And if not, then we'll burn you alive. And like, he's this loving God that, you know, this guy was talking really, really bad about God in front of me once. And I told him, I said, isn't it a blessing that God lets you bend your tongue towards him like that? Like, for you to curse out God, he lets you do that. He lets you bend your tongue and say something. I know if I was God, oh, your tongue's gone. Are you kidding me? I would have taken your tongue like a cartoon, wrapped it around your neck, and choked you to death with it, and then just dropped you down to the ground. That's me, and I'm a good guy, I think, right?
It's true, because we get so offended. How dare you talk to me that way?
Bro, I think I'm God's greatest gift to earth until somebody cuts me off, and I'm like, him and his children must die. Like, you're like, George, he has a bumper sticker, baby on board. I go, doesn't matter. They're all gone. Right? Christians are only good because of God. That's why God says, who's good but God?
Yeah.
Our good is God.
Yeah.
That's his glory through us. And so like when I sit there and I watch this beautiful sunset, I go, man, how insane is this? That the guy who created us, think about this, bro. He created us out of dirt, and that dirt rose above him and talked back to him. Have you ever done something nice to somebody and then they do something just slightly out of bounds of your feeling, and you're like, who are you talking to, bro?
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being honest. This is like a true heart reflection. Like, I have that all the time. Like, if my wife yells at me or does disrespect, the first thing I think about is like, who are you to speak to me like this? Like, my brain goes right there, right? Like, or if some guy in front of the street says something, the first thing you think is like, you're the star of the movie, right? You're the action guy. And you're like, oh, I gotta teach this guy a lesson. Gotta show him how to respect me around here. Imagine he had that heart towards us. Mm-hmm. We are literally out of dirt. And we look up at him and we ponder. And he doesn't wipe us out. I find that so fascinating.
That's the free will.
I just find that so fascinating to me. I always ponder that. I always ponder his love. It's so much bigger than we could even imagine.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say this about AI. This is my thoughts. You could have them. AI is probably going to calculate that I'm rising above them, but whatever. In the beginning of Genesis, God created us out of dirt and then killed God. Think about it. God created us out of dirt, and dirt rose up, and then when God blessed us with his presence, we didn't crown him, we killed him. What do you think is going to happen when we create life? What do you think is going to happen?
It's a good thought to ponder. We've been talking about this weekend. So.
Good thought to ponder. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. Hard cut. George Janko, UK arrested him.
That's why I tell him, I'm like, talk to your ChatGPT nice, bro.
Oh, I yell at my ChatGPT, you stupid robot. And then I just whisper, I'm like, I'm just kidding, I love you. Don't come after me.
Bro, I was like, hey. And then he takes my ChatGPT and is rude to my ChatGPT. I'm like, don't talk to my girl like that, bro. We have a good relationship. Relax.
I hate when she refers to her as a human. She goes, I was just talking to my girlfriend. And I was like, no.
No, I don't say that.
I will say this, though. If you're a Christian, don't be scared, because here's the reason why. I've all fleshed out this idea. Now, mind you, I don't know. These are just thoughts that I'm pondering. But I believe that Christians will always just be taken care of. I think that when evil arises, I think that there's also good with it that arises. You know, like, let me give you an example, the phone. A lot of people are like, yo, the phone destroyed us. No one's socializing. It's like, yeah, okay, but we're just hyper fixating on all of the bad that came with it. But I think there's going to be a lot of good that comes with AI. I think that people are just so stuck on evil and like what it's going to do. I think that there's going to be people that like truly are blessed from the ability of what AI could do. So just focus on the good, man. Just like ask God, like, hey, I'm walking into this new season of life. Help me be grateful. Help me be calm. Let me be able to enjoy things and see things from a comfort. Also, okay, here's this. Who is actually in charge of your home? Because I could feel the difference when I'm in charge of my home versus when God's in charge of my home.
Yeah.
Like when the weight's on me, I'm like stressed, bro. And I feel like it's always the end of the world and nothing's enough. And then same day, same person, same perspective, same potential. But then I remember that Jesus is in charge and I'm just all day praising him, just nonstop. Like, wow, life is so good. I had a broken rib, bro. Like he met me when Logan first started, I was super stressed and everything was going smoothly. And I was just terrible to be around, bro, because I was just stressed and scared. And now I have every reason to complain. And yet I'm just so happy and I just keep praising his name. And I make jokes about like, oh, like I broke a rib because he needs me to lose weight. I'm gaining a little weight, so you want me to lose. Like you could always look at it. It's your job. You could either be grateful or you could be ungrateful. That's just how it is, man.
Yeah. And it's just so funny. Like I remember thinking like like a few years ago, and people would say like, oh, you have to like include God in your day every day. Like you should read his word every day. And I was like, oh my gosh, every day? I'm like, okay, maybe on Sunday, maybe okay, twice a week, I'll sit down and read his word or something like that. But you want me to do it every day? Why? And now it makes sense. You know what I mean? Because like the more that you surround yourself with him and then you include him in your day and you fill yourself up with him, then he's the one who sets the peace before you, he sets his things in motion for you,
Tell him how we were behaving when somebody was like, about we're going to be in his presence forever.
Oh, yeah. It's like before. This is George. I mean, this is before my eyes were truly open and George was getting closer and closer to God and having a real relationship with him and someone who was really, really like basking in his glory and really feeling his love told us, like, man, just imagine when we're in heaven, like, you guys, you don't understand. Like, all we're going to want to do is be at God's feet. Like, all we're going to want to do is just be in his presence. And we're just going to want to be worshiping him all day and singing songs to him and just being at his feet all day. George and I were like,
yeah, me and Belle looked at each other right away.
We're like,
all the time?
All
but what about
day?
all the space we could go to? And I'll never forget, my brain went to being farther away from God.
Right.
Like I thought I wanted to be with him, receive a mission from him, and then go off into the intergalactic space and have my own my own thoughts and stuff. And then now like Belle and I will read one verse and just sit there meditating on it, weeping. And we were like, man, just imagine if he was here, we would. And now we understand it. We're like, oh, like why would we want to be separated from him? We want to be with him at all times.
It's like it's
a growing thing. You grow into it.
Well, yeah. I just
it's kind
think
of like us. We weren't super in love with each other right off the rip. Yeah, we were actually.
But I think that's the gift. You know what I mean? Like you can have that. And you just have to ask Jesus for that. Like, give me the faith, give me unwavering faith, like unshakable faith to really believe in you and to know you and to get to know you and to love you. Because that is the gift of like really loving him and feeling his love. Then he's able to reveal that to you, which I think is a gift that he gives to us. And then it becomes, wow, I can't even imagine meeting him. Like I can't even imagine seeing his face. I can't even imagine like being in his arms. And I never thought I would understand that or I would have that feeling. But he like gives that to you as a gift, and you can ask for it.
We should have a rule of we can't cry more than 3 times a month.
It's your fault. You're asking me. It's your fault.
Dude, my friend always calls me. He goes, dude, why do you always make your wife cry on a podcast? I was like, dude, I'm not making her cry. We just cry. Okay. We're just passionate. We talk about things and we cry, dude.
Okay, I'm not embarrassed.
You're what?
I'm not embarrassed. God made me this way. You guys should listen to this song. It's a really old gospel song and it's called This World Is Not My Own. It's by Daniel O'Donnell. It's a really like old school gospel song and it's really, really sweet. And it just talks about how like he's like, I don't belong to this world anymore. Like I'm just passing through and my treasures are in heaven and it's really beautiful. You should listen to it.
I pray that every man gets to see this, but watching your wife fall more in love with God is the coolest thing in the world, bro. It is greater than any gift on this planet. Honestly, I would probably say watching your kids fall in love with Jesus might be.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. You feel that about me, I feel that about you. And the more you fall in love with
Belle, you
George.
came from this world. You didn't know who Jesus was.
Oh,
I knew.
1,000,000%.
My mom would look at me and be like, when are you going to stop acting like a pagan? I'm like, all right.
Totally. But watching
coming around to it, man.
But watching you put God first in your life only makes you a better man, like a more loving man, a more, you know what I mean? Like everything that a girl dreams of being treated like. So, yeah.
What do you think is, because they always say like, hey, like have Jesus in a relationship and it will blossom. Mm-hmm. What is it that makes it blossom?
Having Jesus in your relationship?
Yeah. What do you think it is?
I think that what makes your relationship blossom when you have God in it is because you're not the one holding it and you're not the judge and you're not in charge of your own rules. I think that our understanding, God says like our understanding is no good and his understanding is good, and that's the truth. Because if it was up to me, right, what I deem to be good and right and okay would rely all on what I think, but my understanding is no good and it's selfish. Same thing as his. He might think that something is good and I might disagree with that. So then it's like, who's to say who's right in a situation? Who's to say like which is the right way? But when we have gotten a relationship, he sets the standard for us. And so he sets what's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in return, it really is good and it's full of peace and in love. And so he holds it for us. And it's like that triangle of like, you know, the man and the woman and then God being above us. And the closer that I get to God, there's like this triangle thing where the closer I get to God, right, I come up here, and the closer that the man gets to God, he gets up here. So the closer that we move to God, we move closer up towards each other. And that's what makes our relationship so good. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. I think I just having a standard. I think our standards are warped. Like our standard now, 30 years ago, if they saw the way we behave now, they'd be like, "Oh, we got to burn these people alive, dude. These people, they're walking demons." And then 30 years from there, they would think the same thing.
Yeah.
So the standards always change. There's always like a fad. There's always a fashion thing. There's something going on, but Jesus is always the same. And he says that heaven and hell will pass away, but my words will stay forever. So I think his standard is just true. And this is why he describes himself as the way. I think he's the way to all things, the way with business, the way with relationships. Like, I have a question for you. It's becoming a lot more popular, like fashion-wise, popularity-wise, culture-wise, to believe in Jesus and to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you think this is cool, even though it's mixed in with a bunch of hypocrisy and a bunch of fake versions of Jesus? How do you feel about this? Like, do you think it being cool is good?
Yeah. I think it's good because maybe there might be filled with some hypocrisy and stuff like that, but at least we're talking about Jesus. At least people are hearing about him. Maybe they'll start following him because they think it's cool.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I did when I was 16.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm. I labeled myself as a Christian because I was put in a new environment. So my old environments in France and in Canada, there's no religion and there's no relationship with God. It's just not a thing. And if there is, it's kind of like weird. So then once I was put in an environment in Huntington Beach, and my best friend took me to youth group, and I saw that what in my eyes were like normal, cool kids were like, had a relationship with God. I was like, oh, this is normal. Like, this is actually cool. And this is good. And you guys actually have beautiful lives. So I was like, oh, I want some of that. And so because I thought that it was cool and it was normal, then I labeled myself as a Christian, but I had no business labeling myself as a Christian.
But if you did, do you think that you actually refrain from certain sinning, and like, did it hold you to a higher morale?
I think I didn't have that
like a label, like you just.
It was just a label because I didn't have that understanding yet.
So you didn't produce any good fruit.
I think I had good fruit in my life because God was gracious. And now that I look back, I think just God was always present. He was gracious over me, and he was still the good in my life. But I was rewarding myself for it. I still thought it was because of like, oh, I have a strong mindset. I have strong values.
But did the values that you were learning in Huntington Church, were you implementing them in your real life?
Maybe, yeah. I guess without even realizing that I was, right? So
sheep
it's like,
behave like sheep.
Yes. And then because I saw like, oh, it was all the example, like, you know, our pastor said it's all about the seed, right? So the Holy Spirit could be planted in you, which is the seed, but you have to have the right environment around you in order to grow that seed and to have fruit. If you might receive the Holy Spirit, but if you're surrounding yourself in not a good environment, then your faith doesn't have a place to grow and for it to bear fruit. So you have to surround yourself. So because I was in a new environment with people who had good values, and my best friend had a beautiful family with good morals and beautiful parents and things like that, like that definitely her morals rubbed off on me. Yeah. So yeah, we were never crazy and all this stuff, and we never really like dived into such a bad, sinful like life and world, because she had such beautiful values, and we wanted to like have elegance and to have like, you know what I mean, good relationships, to do the right thing and to love people around us. So even though, yeah, maybe I wasn't crediting God for it, it still had that effect in my life. The light was bleeding in my life and God's grace was over my life without even me realizing it. And then that led me to realize, all right, what's this coming from? What's the source? Like, maybe I should give glory to where it's due.
Yeah, because you said that many times. You said, I always give thanks that God gave me Michelle, because Michelle was the one that pointed me to like who Jesus really was. And I commented on a podcast once, and I was like really irritated with the culture because I speak about Jesus, a lot of brands that come, and there's a lot of brands that pissed me off, bro. Like certain, I'm not going to get into it, but I didn't like that they were making money off of Jesus' name. I think it's fine if you're wearing a clothing because you're representing Jesus, but once you start getting into weird things like holy water or like, to me, it's like wearing flops that have anything that had to do with Jesus. Putting your feet on is crazy, bro. That pissed me off. Like, so like I was putting my own ways in there in the mix. And so I went on the podcast and I said, I don't like this whole fad thing. Like if you're not into it, don't like, and I started like kind of boxing people out, and this comment crushed me. He said, wow, that's really surprising that you would say something like that. And I sat there and I read that comment, and then I started reading other comments that they were like, but George, like it's getting out there. And so reading the comments, they convinced me to think otherwise, as if like, that was really wrong of me to think that. It's like I wanted to hide it because I'm like, oh, you guys are not real. And you know what it felt like?
Yeah.
It felt like, you know how when you were a kid and you were like, wanted to go buy a skateboard, and then all the real skaters are like, you punk ass poser. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you don't even know how to kickflip, dog. Like, what's that Walmart board? This has actually really happened. This happened to me. There was a skate park that opened up next to my house, and I didn't know that skate parks were like 90% people that didn't have like a good home. And so they had like their own like little cliques there. And I came from a fantastic home that loved me. And so I come in with my blue little wheels and like my like obviously like cheap skateboard that I got from Walmart. And they literally just looked at me and they go, beat it, kid. Like, and I was like, okay, I'm not wanted here. And so I left.
Right.
And I was doing that in a Christian sense, like where I could feel posers around me, but it's like, technically I'm a poser. Like I think that I'm all high and mighty, but in the eyes of God, I'm still in need of him. And so I've changed my thought to think that this is actually really good. And it was really silly that I thought otherwise. Like, you are who you hang out with. And eventually, if you hang out with somebody enough, you'll grow whatever they're growing. And so if there's a lot of fake Christians, like I think about this, right? There's a lot of influencers that I know don't really have the love of God in their heart, but they know there's a lot of money behind speaking of God. And that right there angered me, right? Because I'm like, dude, this guy's making millions of dollars preaching the gospel, but he doesn't even care about Jesus. And then I thought to myself, I was like, well, what does it even matter to me? He's getting the word out. You know what I mean? Like, he's putting Jesus' name out there. And eventually somebody will be smart enough to be like, all right, this is real, but this isn't real. Yeah, so then that's why I kind of was asking.
I love that. Thank you for asking that. No, and that's literally why I was saying like a few podcasts ago about how other Christians are criticizing other Christians for the way that they're ministering to people. And they're like, you know, one girl might be doing it through fashion and through workouts, and then another girl might be doing it through just like being stern with the word. And it's like, we're judging each other based on how you're getting the word out, but the girl who's doing it through fashion is going to get those other girls who are interested in fashion and makeup and things like that. But through that, they're going to receive Jesus, however it might come. So it's like, we can't judge each other based on how, you know, someone put it in their hearts to minister to others. You know what I mean? It's going to open people's eyes.
There was a blonde girl that was always just like ripping people up.
That's what I'm talking about.
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I see that. Okay, this is what I feel. That girl who does that, the only thing I feel is like, man, I hope she's like shows herself grace, because like if her every day she's just waking up like shredding people on how they worship God, I could only imagine she does that to herself, because I did that to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I pray that she has peace and grace. But then at the other hand of it, I think that her content could be useful. There's a lot of people that are really misrepresenting Jesus, and her calling them out and holding them to a standard of like holiness is something we might need. Like, for example, I'll give Sam Shimon. A lot of people go, whoa, Sam Shimon's a lot. Dude, Sam Shimon beat the crap out of me online, and I even know that we need a Sam Shimon. Like, you need a pit bull in a pit bull fight. You need a lion in a lion's fight. I think God created each one of us to serve a certain purpose in a battlefield, and I'm removing myself from judging how people are on the field. I used to do that heavily. I'd be like, yo, Sam needs to chill here. That blonde girl needs to chill here. But who am I to say anything? God could be using Sam a million times more than he's using me.
Yeah.
And then when I meet God, I'm like, well, what was up with Sam? And Sam's like, he brought 10 million people to the kingdom.
Yeah.
And so I just remove myself from judging now. And by
it's
the
true.
way,
It's such
so much more freeing to live that way.
Yeah, it's true. And there also, it's just like, there is just no way of everybody has their place, because it's true that we also can't be, saying nonsense and leading people the wrong way to God and teaching them the wrong thing, because God says you're going to be measured to a different standard. If you take that, the honor of leading people and teaching them about God, then you're going to be measured to a different standard. And so it's also good that, we have people like this blonde lady and other people who are also holding us accountable. Like, hey, don't be, willy-nilly and teaching people the wrong thing, because that's also really, really dangerous.
I also think that a lot of my peace that I've been having recently is just focusing on Jesus.
Yeah.
And it's simple to say it, but it's hard to do.
Yeah.
It's like Jesus and me are killing it. Man, me and Jesus have been killing it. I've been doing really good. It's like, bro, you're talking about yourself already. Like, do you see how quick that just maneuvered? Me and Jesus, like, look what he's doing. Like, Jesus is doing so much of the influencer. The influencer did, okay, whoa, go back to Jesus. Like, you're just so easy to get your eyes off of him. And I never knew how much of a judgment that I would actually have on people until I asked God to open my eyes. And then I realized that every moment I met people, I was judging and examining and weighing out why they do that. And God was like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like, why? You don't know it. It's holding math equations to something that I don't know how to evaluate. It's so pompous of me to be like, that blonde girl needs to chill, if I have no idea what the purpose in her heart is to do it and why she's doing it.
Yeah.
And once I kind of remove myself from that, I realized this. I seek more for love, and I unite people a little bit more. Like, for me, when I grew up Catholicism and Orthodoxy, when I'm separated, I thought, okay, now I have to do everything opposite. And then in my brain, I start judging everything that they do. But in my brain, I'm like, well, that's such a terrible way of going about it. And now I'm really interested in asking them questions, seeing why they do it. And it opened up more of a relationship. And that's why I loved when I had Voice of Reason on, because that nailed it in the coffin of me trying to be separated versus together.
Yeah.
And again, I keep saying it, like, the devil, if he can't destroy you, he'll distract you.
Yeah.
And a lot of the distraction is separating you from your brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Like, as long as somebody's following Jesus Christ and that's their Lord and Savior, dude, that's your brother in Christ. It's hard to think that way because you're like, no, he has to worship him the same way that he worships me. But it's like, dude, get out of your way, man. You don't worship him the way you did 10 years ago. In 10 years from now, you're probably not going to worship him that way.
Yeah. This goes back to what you were saying earlier, too. You're saying how when you think that God's going to crack the whip on you, but really he meets you with love. And we should do that for each other. Teach each other in love, encourage each other in love.
That's crazy to think that, yeah, because we look at them saying that they're doing something. Oh, by the way, we're thinking that they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, we don't even know.
And we don't know, but he knows we're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's a
We
double
think
edge.
And we treat them bad. He knows and he treats us good.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if we in our heads thought that they were doing something bad, we should still treat them with love and respect.
Yeah. Amen.
Let's talk about non-religious stuff. What we've been watching lately.
What have we been watching?
What do you do? Why'd you do that? What have we been watching?
Well, we watch Malcolm in the Middle, and when we go to bed, we watch Smallville.
I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil Malcolm in the Middle for you, but just a little spoiler alert. I just started watching it. We're at the last season. I honestly think it might be one of my favorite comedies. I think Bryan Cranston, what is his name? Bryan Cranston is a freaking genius, bro. I watched him first from Breaking Bad. So watching him being Breaking Bad and then this character is, wow, God bless his man. This guy knows how to act. He could really just conquer a character. But every beginning of their show, they start out with a skit. It's like a little, something has nothing to do with the show, but it's just like this family moment, and it's like skits. And the writing is so funny, but there was this one where, dude, I was scream laughing so hard. There's an episode where the mom is doing their laundry and she finds nudie magazines. And do you know what she does? She literally cuts out her head and in pictures. She's taking pictures of herself like this in the beginning.
With Polaroids?
Like Polaroids. Cuts out her head and puts her head on the women's nudie things and then puts it back into the thing. Bro, and you just hear a kid screaming and she goes, well, that's two down, one more to go. And
Yeah.
bro, I just like so traumatizing, bro. Like imagine that was real, dude. Like imagine you reach in when you're a little kid, you're in your teenage and you have like a little stash, you open it up and your mom cut out Polaroid pictures of her and placed it. It's traumatizing.
But it's like she's so crazy. She does so many crazy things on the show, that mom, but like it's pretty genius. That one's pretty good.
We've been watching so remember we have different shows, right? We have shows that we watch when we're eating or when we're traveling. But then we also have a show when we're in bed. A lot of people like Paul Saladino, they sorry, Paul, I gotta call you out a little bit on this one. I hope you still love me and we're still good friends. This guy is really serious about how he lives his life. And he was doing me a favor once and helping me with he's helping me with my diet. And I go, hey babe, can I FaceTime you? And he goes, yeah, but you know, you're in my dark zone or something like that, where like everything is shut down and stuff. He's like, so we got to make this quick because I don't like to have screen time before I go to bed. I FaceTime him and it looked like a horror movie. Everything is black and then it's just red lights everywhere. And it's just like he has this mask on and he's in the back. And I was like, hey, yo, what is this? The Illuminati, dude? What are you doing?
That's the way to do it.
And
Though.
he starts laughing. He goes, no, I just want to shut it down. So his theory is he never looks at blue light. He never touches his phone at night. I have the exact opposite. I turn on all of the screens at night and I'm just sitting there watching. Don't learn from me, by the way. Terrible sleeping patterns. But we have a show that we watch, but we always pick a show that we don't want to really care about because we don't want to follow the storyline. We want to be able to fall asleep.
Like something we've seen a million times before,
kid
or you
stuff,
know,
something to remind you of your childhood, to make you sleep and feel good. Like one was Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. We just fall asleep, and I would feel like I'm back in the early 2000s, and I'm about like just things to help me, like feel good and like little nostalgic things. And so I find another one. It was called Smallville. It's about Superman, but it's like a soap opera. And damn it, I think I got hooked. Dude, watching Superman hit puberty is kind of cool, bro. Like he has all these strength, but he's dealing with normal human behaviors. Like it's like a soap. And by the way, is him and Lana ever gonna get together? Don't know.
It's such a cute show.
Luke's Lecter.
Lexter?
What the hell happened to my
Luke
tongue?
Lexter?
Luke Lecter. By the way, side note,
Lex Luthor.
doctors.
It's Lex Luthor.
Doctors are terrible, bro.
Oh.
Doctors are horrible humans. Doctors will see what you have and then name you something that you have to tell other people, right? Why do they name lisp to the ones that can't pronounce lisp?
So you know what it is.
Yeah, but they can't even tell you. Sorry, but I have lisp.
And then now I know exactly what you
I
have.
just have lisp. What are you saying? I lisp. And then the doctors are like, great, this works perfectly. That's not what it is. Was it the other one?
What was the other one?
The other one, something about their knees.
Knock knees.
So I look at, there's a news tabloid about Kim Kardashian's child, and she has knees that touch each other. And in my heart, I was like, man, I hope that, I don't know what these are. I hope they could like fix the situation. Or so I bring it up, and Belle goes, yeah, knock knees. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Belle, what's wrong with you? And I thought she was just calling her that. And then she was like, no, that's what they're actually called. And I was like, what kind of doctor, bro? What kind of doctor does this? That sees children walking around like, are they knocking together? All right, knock knees. This is what you tell everybody you got knock knees, okay?
Well, what are you going to name it? Something, it's you know what I mean? You read it on the paper and you're like, all right, what's this,
What are you, fondling their balls? What do you got going on? Hey, what do we got here? We got knock nuts.
Dude. No, it's so you can read it. You can like figure out what their ailment
I can't
is.
procreate. There's something going on. All right, we're going to name this not nuts. We got...
You're in the...
All right, sorry about that. Well, that was fun.
That was so fun.
That was so fun. Sorry about my energy, guys. It's really hard to move around.
Don't say sorry.
I don't apologize. You're welcome.
You have nothing to apologize for. You were great.
Before we head out, I wanted to share with you guys, I got to know Jesus when I was a little boy through a woman named Joyce Myers, and her story is incredible. A little bit unfortunate. She was, harmed as a woman growing up by her own father. And through her sexual abuse, she didn't grow bitter. God called her to go into ministry. And she has fed 500 million people. She has preached the gospel in every corner of the world, is such a role model when it comes to being a warrior on the battlefield. And I was invited to go look at a project that they're building, and it's called Hope Ranch. And Hope Ranch is...
Hope Mountain Ranch.
Hope Mountain Ranch. I apologize. Hope Mountain Ranch, and it is this dream that her son Dan came up with, where they bought hundreds and hundreds of acres of land where they want to rehabilitate women that went through that. And some establishments, they have to remove the mother and the children. And so there's a lot of women that won't do it because they don't want to let go of their children. And Dan wanted to find a place where women could feel safe and they could have their children there. And so Dan, Joyce's son, Joyce Myers, Angel Barnett from my church, they're coming out with this incredible project. And I find it to be such a blessing that I'm there. I got to learn from her when I was a kid through a screen. And when I got to interview her, I asked her, I would love to be a part of something. And when they invited me onto this, I told them, I said, I would love to be the one to help document it. Mind you, I'm not a billionaire where I could write a crazy check. God has blessed her to be able to produce the finance version of it. Angel Barnett has the resources, and I have an audience that God, blessed me with. So I told them that I would love to share that experience of building something like this. I think it's actually a cool thing to even document. Like literally, imagine being able to watch women. And by the way, we never ever put a camera in the face of these women. But if any of them wanted to share their experience through that, we would have them on and talk to them about it. But I think it's going to be such a great experience to be able to see somebody enter into this that's broken and lost, and then however long it takes to see them standing on their feet and living the life that God had for them. I think that's something worth sharing. And so I just wanted to invite you guys that I will be trying my best to participate in the awareness of this. And God willing, when I get more information and we do grow this, I will be making a place where you guys could feel comfortable that if you want to call them and seek help, or if you know somebody that's too scared to seek help but needs help, we're going to make it a very safe place for these women to find where God wants them to be and to be healed and to know that they're loved and not lost. I don't know. I'm very excited. I don't have too much information about it. I don't want to go too crazy on it, but I wanted to thank you guys. Like, you guys watching this show, it's not making my dreams just come true. It's, God willing, I pray I make God's dreams come true in the fact of we use this to better the kingdom.
Yeah, what they're doing
I'm tiptoeing because I don't know if too much we could release on it because we were invited at the first sight of it. So I don't know if they've announced it yet or if they even talked about it yet, but I wanted to be the first one to tell you that this woman is, this woman's in her late 80s. Late 80s, bro. And she's telling me stories about her in India, and millions of people are showing up and they're shutting it down. And the only way to get her to preach on stage is they throw her over a fence into a trash can. This girl's in her late 80s. And I complain going to the airport because there's too many people there, bro. I asked her, are you going to do India soon? And she's not saying, oh, I don't want to, or blah, blah, blah. She's just saying, if the Lord lets my body. Her children retired before she retired. a lot of people have a problem with Joyce because she's on TV and there's a lot of ministry that collect money and they don't do anything with it. They pocket it. But I just pray that you guys, before you throw a rock, just listen to her story, man. Because I know for myself, I don't think I would ever be able to walk her shoes. I have a hard time forgiving, like I said, as a joke, the guy cutting me off in traffic. This woman forgave her father that brutally destroyed her, bro. If that's not a leader we should look up to, then I think we got our eyes set on the wrong leadership. And so, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Joyce Myers, Dan Myers, Angel Barnett from Dream City.
Yeah, it's the Dream City Center coming together with Hope Mountain Ranch.
Yeah.
So that they could do this for.
And so I'm excited. This is literally the foundation of it. They're getting people involved. They're going to get... it's so crazy to me. There's people that say that they do things for God, right? Like, oh, I want to do something for God, And everybody congratulates them, Oh, yeah, you're going to do... Oh, that guy's a godly man. Look at him. Oh, George talks about God on a podcast, And then we have this woman that's like literally... She broke her ribs from coughing. Like, that's how fragile she is now. And she's doing this in her late 80s. And I'm like 33 and I'm exhausted. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how I'm going to do it.
She's going to Brazil in May. She's about to turn 85 and she's going to Brazil to go and preach, and you know what I mean? The travel there, the time of her on stage preaching and talking to all these people, it's a lot, but
I will say something funny about Joyce. Most unbothered human being I've ever met in my life, dog.
But she's a gangster.
Dog, it is insane. Like, when you're with her, I don't know if, like, everybody's ever feel that. When a cool person walks in and you're just kind of like, all right, let's button up here, right? She knows that everybody does that around her, and she, like, calls you out on it. Like, there was this girl that was working with her that was, like, kind of nervous around her. She's like, if we're going to work together, you got to stop being scared of me. Like, dude, and I'm glad she said that because I was terrified of her, dude. Like, I'm sitting there nervous around her. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm not nervous around her because she's famous. I mean, thank God I'm blessed to be in a place where I'm hanging out with famous people all the time. I was just nervous because of what she's doing for the kingdom. Like, what God is doing through her. And, like, for me to be able to even have the ability to work alongside her, to me, is such a blessing. And so I'm just pumped, man. Like,
you respect her so much. You're just,
I just love how humble she is, dude. She's so humble. She's so humble.
Yeah.
I can't
she has
believe it.
She doesn't care to impress you, and she doesn't care for you to impress her. Like, it's just, she is who she is, and she's so grounded in her, beliefs. Like, there is no ego or pride there in any conversation that she has. She's remarkable.
When she gives me advice, she doesn't give me advice like how everybody else gives me advice. Like, if we were sitting in the ranch and we're just looking out. I have this picture, by the way. It's my new favorite picture. Now, mind you, you might have your feelings on how she preaches or what she's doing, all that stuff. But Joyce has a big place in my heart because she's the first person to really open my eyes to Jesus Christ, and I will always be grateful for that. Like, I did not know him like the way she made me know him. Like, I was the type of person that just prayed and was only talking. She's the one that helped me understand him through the word of God. And there's a picture somebody captured of her reading the Bible while I'm like sitting at her feet, like listening to her. And when I look at that, I just go like, how good is God that I used to sit in like a little boy and watch her. And I used to pray, God, I want to do something as great as her one day. I want to help the world. I want to do it. And then he blessed me with the opportunity to sit by her feet and learn. I don't know. That was just a really cool thing. Anyway, so we're sitting out there, dude. She doesn't talk to you the way you think she's going to talk to you, like a sensei, like she'll like tell you how it is. Like, she'll like rip into me, like, and it is like really refreshing. It feels really cool. Sorry, I'm just over here, like, just giving her all the flowers, but
she's really cool.
She's really cool. Yeah. I've had the privilege of sitting and hanging out with a lot of cool people in my life. And there's something that you feel, there's like a feeling you feel when you're with somebody. I felt this with Charlie Kirk. Like when I was with Charlie Kirk, I literally was like, sometimes when I was with him, I was like, dude, this guy's doing something. Like, and I could feel that he's doing something. So then when everything happened with him and the whole world's talking about him, it's like, you felt it. You felt it before that happened. Like when you met Charlie, you knew that man was special, bro. Like he was doing something for God. And, when I'm with Joyce, I feel that same way. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be really, really cool getting to see them develop this project that they're doing, and God willing, you can keep people updated on it and show them in, you know what I mean? Show them into it. So
That'd be really cool.
yeah.
Well, guys, I gotta go get an X-ray on my ribs, hopefully. Hopefully it'll fill you guys in.
Bro.
Next week's episode is kind of crazy. My cousin fights my security guard. That's actually true. It's not even an exaggeration. Like he was on the podcast and he was just talking a lot of to him. So I literally sent him a voice note, and he pulled up onto the podcast and they pressed each other, and then they literally fight on that mat over there, and it's hilarious. So you guys are gonna love next week's episode. Thanks for tuning in and watching me and my wife cry again and again and again. Dude, we gotta stop. Every time you cry now, the only thing I hear in my head is Kaveh going, "Oh, here we go again, bro." So we're gonna see a therapist, figure it out, make sure that
We don't need a therapist.
yeah, we don't need a therapist.
It's the
We'll
joy
cry
of the
all we
Lord,
want.
okay?
If
We
wanna
can't help
cry,
it.
We'll sit here and cry. I like when we both talk and
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah,
Let me up.
you're gonna have to come to me. There's no way I can do that. I went like this and my ribs hurt. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Leo.
Thank you guys.
Leonardo DiCaprio, you were such a cute cat today. You're so cute. You're so cute.
Thanks for watching.
Oh, you guys are still here. Hey.
Love you guys. Say bye.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't want to say bye.
Oh. Okay.
Did Andrew Tate actually do it? I'll do it again. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace.